Wall Street wants to help you to buy a house. Yes, the exact same Wall Street that crushed the housing market back in 2008 finally wants to fix that and help you to buy your first house. That's why Wall Street is committing $750 billion to help the average American to buy a house. Once the largest bank in Wall Street starts doing that, trust me, the rest of the Wall Street will follow JPMorgan. Finally, after so many years where the average American was struggling to buy a house, now there is an opportunity. Why do we even have a housing problem in the first place? Now, after the 2008 financial crisis, when the housing market crashed, three fundamental things that happened that created the housing problem today. First of all, when house prices collapsed, developers no longer saw it as a good investment to start building house, so they basically stopped. At the end of the day, if you want to fix the housing problem, you have to build those houses. But if you're a developer and it no longer makes financial sense to build a house and sell it, then obviously you're going to close that business and go and do something else. Secondly, investors avoided this industry at all. Imagine if you were investing in the housing market, in the real estate market, and now the entire market has completely collapsed. That's a toxic industry. That's not the industry you want to invest in. You would go on and invest in something else, like the stock market, like Bitcoins, and something else. And finally, low interest rates meant that housing no longer made actually a good investment. Look at the interest rate after the 2008 financial crisis. The Federal Reserve literally kept them at about 0% for a very long time. The only time that interest rates spiked was back in 2018 and 2019, but then quickly the Fed got them back to 0%. So over the last couple of years, especially since 2022, this is the only time that you're actually facing the highest interest rates literally since the 2008 financial crisis. These three reasons led to a shortage of houses in the market, and that's why house prices has risen so much. In fact, they even doubled from their peak back in 2007. Imagine if you are the CEO of a large bank in America and you are taking a decision. The borrowers on the other side want to borrow money to get a mortgage, and you're going to loan them hundreds of thousands of dollars for the next 30 years at 3% interest rate. Do you think that's a good investment? Let me ask you, imagine if you're sitting on $1 million in your backyard, and I would come tell you, listen, can you please loan me that money for the next 30 years at 3% interest rate? Obviously, you look at me and say, nah, that's not a good investment. I can make far more money. For 3%, it makes no sense. And that's why banks avoided giving so much loans, which is why we have ended up with 4.5 million shortage of houses in the market, which is why we have a housing crisis today. But that's about to end because Wall Street is about to fix that. JPMorgan is committing to spend $750 billion over the next 10 years to fix the housing problem. Will this create another 2008 style crisis? Because if Wall Street is going to spend so much money and they will build so much houses on the other side, will that actually create an oversupply of houses? Didn't the 2008 financial crisis started the exact same way? Back in early 2000s, they started building houses left and right, and they had to sell these houses somehow. And when there was an oversupply of houses in the market, you know exactly what happened. The Federal Reserve wants to lower down interest rates. Now everybody, absolutely everybody, since 2022 is waiting for inflation to cool down so that we can actually bring down interest rates to 2%. Back when Jay Powell was the chair of the Fed, he made it clear, we want lower interest rates, but we can't get them because we have to bring inflation to a sustainable level of 2%. They tried to do that, and by February of this year, they brought it down to 2.4% or even 2.2%. But since the war in Iran started, we have that inflation again, and that's why interest rates hasn't gone down. But once this war with Iran is over, once they will make a deal with Iran, obviously inflation will cool down and we might actually have again lower interest rates. When you have lower interest rates and JPMorgan is massively increasing the supply of houses, what do you think is going to happen? Prices are going to fall. So if you're right now thinking about buying a house, it might mean that you will be buying a house at the peak of the market. just like were people who were buying houses back in 2006 and 2008. And then boom, 2008 happens and the entire market actually collapses. Because right now we have a very serious problem. 65% of the buyers are pushed out of the market. There are millions of people. We want to buy a house, but we can't because prices are insanely expensive. But sellers on the other side, they don't want to sell their houses. Guess why? Because why would I sell my house today if next year this exact same house is going to rise in prices by 10 or 15%? I would rather wait another year and I will sell it for another 15%. Next year happens and I'm told the exact same thing. Why would I sell now when if I wait another year, it's going to rise by another 10 to 15%. And that's the mentality that a lot of sellers are having. Do you see how similar that is to the early 2000s? People were told the exact same thing. Do not sell. Look at these house prices. They're rising year after year. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. We are not going to repeat the 2008 financial crisis. And Wall Street isn't actually trying to save the housing market by helping you to buy a house. There is something completely different going on in the market, something that you're not going to like. In fact, the housing market is about to get much worse because the last thing you want to do is trust Wall Street to fix any problem in the economy. The Fed wants to lower down interest rates, but just because the Federal Reserve wants to lower down interest rate, it does not mean that's going to happen. Look at the forward curve. This is what is going to happen to interest rates. This is the outlook of the interest rates. And you can say that maybe in the short run, there is a possibility that interest rates are going to go down. But in the long run, especially in the next 10 to 15 years, interest rates will continue rising. And if interest rates will continue rising, what do you think is going to happen to the mortgage rates? Of course, mortgage rates will continue rising. And now the Federal Reserve is actually looking at the prospect that by the end of the year, they might actually raise the interest rates twice. And if this war with Iran is going to get even worse, that means that we're looking into interest rates at about 5%, maybe 5.5% for the next couple of years. Now, these wars that they are actually starting, they might seem like a 2-week war, but at the end of the day, it is going to turn out into a 20-year war. But even if this war did not actually happen with Iran, there is another problem, and that problem is called a huge deficit and a debt problem that the government is going through. When you have so much debt and you have to keep refinancing it every single year, that means that you have to issue more debt every single year. And that means that you have to attract more buyers. And if you're attracting more buyers, you have to offer them higher interest rates or higher yields. And that means that interest rates will continue rising. Even though that right now, interest rates are 3.7%, the yields on 10-year government bonds are 4.7%. The Federal Reserve has lowered down interest rates since 2023, but the yields on 10-year treasuries haven't gone down. In fact, they've been rising every single year. So the main reason that JPMorgan wants to funnel $750 billion into the housing market, I would replace the word funnel to investing, is because the era of cheap money is over. This period when interest rates were at about 0% and nobody was making money by loaning money is actually over. And now you can actually loan your money and you will make a decent income. You will make a decent return on your investment. The business of loaning money finally makes sense again since the 2008 financial crisis. And now imagine you are the CEO of a major bank in America and you can loan mortgages at 7% for the next 30 years. Now, this business model looks a lot more attractive than loaning money for the next 30 years at 3% interest rate. Finally, you're like, yes, if this is the case, I'm ready to loan hundreds of billions of dollars to the average Americans to buy these houses. 3% versus 7% might not feel like a huge difference. Let's say that there is a house that's worth $440,000. If interest rates are 3% versus interest rates 6.8%, assuming that you will make the exact same 20% down payment, this is going to be the total loan in both cases. If the mortgage rate is 3%, you will be paying less than $1,500 monthly. But if interest rates are 6.8%, you will be paying almost $2,300. Over 30 years at 3% interest rate, you will be paying $182,000 worth of interest. But in the second case, you will be paying $471,000. So the bank is going to earn 2.5 times more from you in the second case compared to the first case. Do you see why this business suddenly becomes so lucrative for banks? And JPMorgan knows that there are 4 to 5 million people who are ready to buy houses in the market. The demand is guaranteed. But JPMorgan is smart. They're not going to simply offer these mortgages to the average Americans to get them, but rather they will also be financing the developers. So if you're a developer, you want to build houses, JPMorgan is ready to offer you the loans so that you go and build these houses. On one side, they're making money from the developers. On the other side, they're making money from the people who want these mortgages to buy houses. So JPMorgan is about to make trillions of dollars from these investments. But here's the question. How is that going to change the market, and is it time to actually buy a house? First of all, the sellers up until now were waiting. Why would I actually sell my house if the price of my house is going to rise? But if you look around and you see there are so many constructions, so many houses are being built, you start thinking differently. It makes no sense for me to wait because the price of my house is no longer going to rise that fast. So will that actually crush the market? Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Think about it this way. All these people who purchased these houses before 2022, they got like 3% mortgage rates. If they're gonna sell their houses now and they go and get themselves a brand new house and a brand new mortgage, the new mortgage rate will be 7%. Why would I want to pay 7% when I have a 3% mortgage? That's why most people are not going to sell their houses even if house prices stop growing. What is going to change is that the new winners of the housing market are no longer going to be house owners, the people who purchase houses and now they're basically making money by sitting on that house because time is basically pushing the price of their houses to continue rising. Now, that's no longer going to happen. The new winners are going to be the banks, the people who are offering these loans, the people who are offering these mortgages. Because now they will be making 7%, maybe 8%, maybe even 9% in the long run as interest rates will continue climbing. Real estate will basically no longer going to be a good investment, but loaning money will be a really great investment now because the era of cheap money is over. So if you're planning to invest in the housing market, in real estate, unfortunately, you're most likely not going to make a lot of money. Here are 2 ways that you can actually make money from now onwards. First of all, you can by loaning money. If you're sitting on a lot of money, you can loan your money and you will be earning a lot of interest. But if you have a small amount of money, it's not going to make a huge difference. So rich people with a lot of capital will be the biggest winners out of this change. But it doesn't mean that everyone else is going to lose. We still have the stock market where you can actually make far more money than loaning your money to someone else. There are stocks in the stock market that can rise by 20%, 50%, 70%. But most people don't really know how to find the stocks. They don't know how to analyze stocks. They don't know how to find the valuation of the stocks. If you pull out any stock, you will find out that it is fluctuating constantly. Sometimes it goes down, sometimes it rises dramatically. The real question is that at which price do you buy it? If you know the real valuation of that stock, you will buy the stock the moment it goes below that valuation, and you will simply sell the stock the moment it goes higher than valuation. Every single week, I take a stock, I analyze it live on the Investing Academy so that everybody can see how this analysis is done and find out at which price it makes sense to buy the stock. So the moment it goes below that price, we buy the stock. The moment it goes above that price, we sell that stock. So if you want to know what are the top 5 stocks to buy right now that are going to be the biggest winner of this change, then check out the Investing Academy. The link is in the description of this video.